Well, hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to our session AI and Fiori Elements, Intelligent App Development at Scale. My name is Sebastian Werner. I'm a product manager for Fiori Elements and Fiori Tools and also our AI solutions that we're building up rapidly right now. Today with me, I have Christoph Gollmick, which is lead product manager for Fiori Tools and Fiori Elements. And then also Stefan Engelhardt, who is a hybrid between an architect and also a product manager. I would say, Stefan, you can define your role a little bit better, I think, later when it's your turn. But I want to start you off with a little agenda for today. We have some exciting topics for you, not only for Fiori Elements, but also Fiori Tools and of course AI, as I mentioned. We have an interesting update to our MCP server that we released a few weeks ago. And Christoph will also demo it today, so you're going to see that in action, which is always pretty cool, I would say. Stefan will take over a part of the Fiori Elements updates regarding the new SAP Fiori development portal. So that's going to be the replacement for the flexible programmer model explorer, which we have a new developer experience there, where you can actually find a lot of good code and a lot of helps for you to develop Fiori Elements apps faster, also with building blocks. This is going to be a big factor today in the presentation. I'm actually going to start with that one because we have some exciting news regarding building blocks and the overall product, I would say, that is Fiori Elements. So let's jump into the content. Just to give you a rough idea of where we are for people that are completely new to the topic. This is the overview of what SAP is offering, right? So you always have the design system, so everybody should be familiar with SAP Fiori. You have the design portal from our friends at SAP Design, which consists, of course, of design language, foundations, components, and patterns, right? As you see, if you go to the design portal, if you want to check that out, that has everything that a designer needs. And then we are basically going down to the tools and technologies where we have SAP Fiori Tools, SAP UI5, and SAP Fiori Elements, which we're going to focus on today. So Fiori Tools is our tool suite that we gave you a few years back in order to be more productive when it comes to creating Elements apps, Fiori Elements apps. And then, of course, SAP Fiori Elements is a framework that is built on top of SAP UI5, our UI technology that we have within SAP. And as a framework, it's more scalable and more flexible to scale when it comes to rapidly developing Fiori apps. So, exciting news about SAP Fiori Elements. Let's start you off with 3 points for today. So the past, the present, and the future. So we're going into the past first, because we always want to highlight a little bit of a few numbers that we achieved over the last month. And this is the last 90 days, it says on the left time. So just to give you a rough idea of what we're talking about here when it comes to apps and specifically Fiori Elements apps and how the adoption is inside and outside of SAP. So starting you off with the internal view. So with 2408 and 2502, we have 95 or 96% adoption within S4. We're extremely proud of this because we had years and years where we basically had slides and we went to conferences and Devtoberfest and all that rollout session where we said like we were the 80% case, right? So 80% of all apps within S4 are developed with Fiori Elements. I'm very glad to report this has bumped up to 95 or 96% for the two last releases, which we're very proud of, and I hope I hope we'll get up to 99% maybe at some point. Let's see what the future brings. Speaking of this, the external view, of course, on the right side, you can see that's marked on screen right now. Internal and external generated project with Fiori Tools is 114,900. So quite a number. And this is scaling upwards, which we're also proud of. And then also internal and external AI generated projects. So that means our project accelerator, our AI solution that we showed you, I think it was last year here. We showed it last year, I think at the Oktoberfest the first time. We're now at 4,070. This is also trending, of course, upwards because of the MCP server that we just released. This will also factor into that number. But we're already seeing the AI adoption is pretty great out there, and the MCP server is also getting used. So just to give you a rough idea of RAP versus CAP, This is always interesting for most of the people. So we have 80K on RUP and 30K on CUP, 34K on CUP. So you can see the ABAP community is still out there and is still strong, of course. But of course, CUP is equally as important and is also trending upward. Okay, enough of numbers. Let's dive into the announcement that we have today for Fiori Elements before we jumping into the development portal part of the MCP part. So the present of the product is usually you have floor plans and you have building blocks, right? This is the narrative that we pushed the last month and years. We started out with floor plans, then we transitioned over into building blocks, but we always thought like building blocks are very important for us. So we want to do a little bit more with building blocks. Floor plans are here to stay. There's a ton of use cases where floor plans are actually the one to choose. But of course, building blocks are more flexible, and that's why we basically said, okay, we need to unify this approach, and we're now happy to report that floor plans consist now of building blocks. So the concept will unify, and you can start basically now, if you really want to, with a blank custom page. So any blank custom page would do it, and you can place your building blocks in that blank custom page in order to achieve a floor plan look, but with building blocks, right? Which gives you more flexibility because you're not in that floor plan anymore, but you will have almost the same outcome. And of course, because you're in a blank custom page, you can also add your freestyle UI5 code to it, no problem. So this is what we've been working on, and I think you will see that reflected in more and more parts of the product and more hands-on and demos that we do. Just speaking of it, we're going to be at TechEd in 2 weeks in Berlin. We're also going to be in Bangalore, and we're also going to have sessions in Sydney. So keep your eyes peeled on that. I have an announcement slide for the sessions at the end of this session. So there's the numbers and the titles for the 3 different hands-ons that we have going on and the deep dive that we're going to be at TechEd. So if you are interested, I'll put that in the YouTube chat at the end of the presentation, so you can click on it and see, like, if you're in Berlin, you can, or in Bangalore, you can just find it, because in Bangalore and Berlin, the numbers are the same for the sessions, but it's quite good. All right. So this is the present. Now we had one more topic for this introduction, which is the future, right? And there, of course, we're not going to stop at like building up building blocks or making building blocks a little bit more potent. We also said it should not matter where you want to start. So you can start right now, you can start with a floor plan, but what if you want to really start with a floor plan and convert that into building blocks, right? Because some people just say, this floor plan is already perfect for me, but I don't want to lose the flexibility of building blocks. So in 2026, we will give you a floor plan converter, where you actually convert your floor plan into a custom page with building blocks, and this will going to be achieved with the page building block that we're going to roll out a little bit more of. And then you can actually start with, if you say this is the right start point for me, you can start with the floor plan, but also don't lose the flexibility of building blocks and convert this over in a custom page with building blocks. So this means, of course, if you have building blocks on a custom page, you can move those building blocks, right? You're more flexible. You can, of course, delete those building blocks if you want to. You can replace those building blocks, adjust or add new building blocks, however you want it. So this is the flexibility that we give you next year. This is on the roadmap, and I'm looking forward to 2026 to actually see that rolling out, maybe at UI5Con. We don't know yet, but we'll see about that. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that. That's going to be exciting for us. And then I think for the overall talk, for the first 10 minutes, if you really want to take something from this talk, then please remember, okay, we're going to focus on building blocks. Building blocks are the new rising star within the framework, which is exciting for us because it gives more flexibility. And also, of course, this is by user request, right? We always heard like you need more flexibility within the framework, and this is how we're going to achieve this. And then, as the third point, that's a little bit of a foreshadowing for Stefan. We're going to give you the Fiori development portal, which you're going to see in a second after I have 2 more slides. This little timeline, right? So the Fiori development portal is available now. Fiori tool support for the page building block is going to come, and then the floor plan converter is in 2026. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Stefan to actually show you what we mean with the Fiori development portal, which is available externally starting now. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand over to Stefan.
All right, so you should be able to see my screen. So this is what you might have seen when you work with Fiori elements before, with Fiori elements for OData before. So this is the flexible programming model explorer. So this is past. And what we have just released is the Fiori elements dev portal, the Fiori dev portal. And when you go here to resources, it still shows the old name in the UI5 documentation. But when you go here, you will see this SAP Fiori development portal. Yeah, it's in the next stage of live samples and explanations for Fiori elements. So like Sebastian said, so the building blocks are center stage. So here you get some introductory words. Also, it explains, so we have the floor know them like list report object page, but also the custom layouts when you want to use a custom page. And yeah, so that's as also Sebastian outlined. So this is the very important thing to get, and also the Fiori development portal helps with it, so that it's not like in the past where you have decided at project start if you either go for Fiori elements or for freestyle SAP UI5. So now when you use OData, and when you use OData before, you in like probably 99% of the cases, you can start with Fiori elements for OData before, with either floor plans or custom layout, and leverage the building blocks, and then you're good to go, and you can switch between floor plans and custom layout. All right, so I walk you through a bit here, so that you can see what we have added. So there's a little explanation how it works in the portal. So what is there? Like, for example, you can see the code. Also, when you click on show code on the right, like you might already know from the Fiori, from the flexible programming model explorer. And yeah, let's start it off with the first section with the building blocks. And so here, let's just start with the most simple one, the field. So here's a very simple sample. So there's just a description, it's a string, and we have it here in edit mode. I can also switch to display mode. Also, what you can do is you can click on show code. So I see what is used here. So it's a field building block. It is bound to the description field. And yeah, based on this, the UI shows it in here. You can also go to the documentation if you want to jump to the development documentation and to find out more. So then the next thing I picked, so that we have a little more in the field, and I'm not going via navigation, but also want to you're aware of the search, or your customer might want to a rating indicator. So you can just type in here rating, and then you see rating indicator. And this is also how you can navigate through the portal. So if you're not sure where something could be, just use the search. And here you then can find a comprehensive sample of how to use a rating indicator. So there are the CAP annotations, CAP CDS document annotations, and the XML annotations. And here on the right side, again, you can see the field. It's bound in this case to a data point. And yeah, that's how easy you can get a rating indicator into your UI. And this is, by the way, not only for developers. You can also, as a customer, as a product manager, as a UX designer, whatever your role is, if you are working in Fiori development, or you ask for a Fiori app, you can go in here, you can explore the possibilities, because every here and then it happens so that a customer asks for something that it's maybe not available what exactly the customer is asking for, but there's a very good equivalent available, and then you can just here explore the options. You can also take your customer and walk them through here so that they see available visualization options. Maybe they have not had in mind that you can also visualize a rating with such stars, like you know it from online shops. So to just get inspired and see what is available. Then the next thing is here we have also samples for tables, and I picked the tree table here because tree table is also still relatively new. In ABAP, in RAP, you might have seen it already. Also in CAP, it's available in the meantime. So you can see, explore the sample here, make use of it, test it out, and then you can see also how you can implement it. So for example, which annotations you need. And yeah, again, here also you can look at the code. So in your fragment or in your XML view, it's just a one-liner, just pointing to the tree table building block, and this points to an annotation, and then yeah, you're good to go, and you have a full-fledged tree table, which is by the way also supporting drag and drop and also editing capabilities. Then the next building block I picked is the rich text editor. Also, this is something we do offer. And yeah, here this is also interesting because if you work with edit and display mode, there are some things you need to do so that the rich text editor works as you expect it to work. And also this we implemented in the building block, so it makes it also easier for you to use. Then next up, we have a chapter for, it's called Global Patterns. So it talks about a couple of concepts like controller extensions, how you implement them, and here also a couple of samples available, how to do it, and always keep in mind that there are also Fiori tools available. So with Fiori tools, you can also easily add a controller extension. So to get the file into your project, to get, like here, for example, the manifest entries. So this is also something which we will add, so that there is also more Fiori tools guidance on it. And just let's pick another sample. So side effects are also a regular topic for questions. And here you can also see live samples. I can, for example, toggle with a checkbox the editability of a input field. Then a new chapter, which we did not had in the past in the Flexible Programming Model Explorer, is the chapter about the floor plan. So here you can see a list report. Also, it explains you what elements are there and how, so for example, filter bar and table, and how you annotate them. And as mentioned, so you can use this to look with your customer on it, so that they see, okay, this is how such a list page typically looks like in Fiori. Also, you can even do things like changing things here, so that you can adjust the sample live, so that you can just show them, okay, this is how it looks like when I change it a little bit, and then you can even maybe show them directly what they're looking for. Of course, there's also the object page available. So also this you can show, how this typically looks like. That there can be like also detail navigation, and there's also the chapter about extensions, so which you might know already. So just take a sample, the custom section, so that such an object page has typical elements like a form or table, and you can here complement it also with, for example, a geomap with which you then can use non-standard visualizations, which we don't offer as a building block or in standard, but here it's just a piece of freestyle SAP UI5 code which you can include here. And for end user, the end user does not see and does not care if this is standard building block or if this is SAP UI5 freestyle code. Then we have also here the custom page as a sample here, the building blocks usage. So where we just get like an empty page, and then here's what it needs to cover, or what the boundary conditions are. For example, that it uses our FPM page. And then you can already start using building blocks. So for example, that you just use the table building block and it points to an annotation. And then you get the full-fledged table like you would get it also if you would just use it in a list report or in an object page. And last page here, there were also teams, they wanted to implement their own edit mode, maybe even with draft handling, and they suffered. It's quite a lot of work if you need to do this. And so also on a custom page, you can leverage our draft controllers, so that you can just here click on edit, you can change something, and then SAP Fiori Elements controller code gets used to make these updates. And there's also here a hint on Fiori tools. So this was the walkthrough. If you have any feedback to the SAP Fiori development portal, then just reach out to us. So we are happy to look at it and include it if possible. And there are two things for the outlook. So one is there are many ABAP developers we have seen in the statistics, and what we are working on is that we also include the ABAP CDS annotation. So here's an outlook, a preview, so that there's not only CAP, but that there's also the RAP annotation. So you don't need to look up what is the equivalent for a selection field in ABAP CDS. So you then just can get it here. And another outlook is also you might have spotted a JavaScript in the controller extensions in the Fiori development portal. So there we also will switch to TypeScript. Of course, so TypeScript is in most of the cases way better, so that we also promote this more. And with that, I'm through it, and then I hand over to Christoph.
Thank you very much, Sebastian and Stefan, for the nice introduction to these two new topics. I'm now to share with you what we have new in shop for our SAP Fiori tools. Sebastian mentioned it already at the beginning. Last year we have showed at the first AI solution with SAP Fiori tools and SAP Fiori Elements, the project accelerator, which allows you to take a screenshot or requirements document to create a new project from scratch, relatively fast and easy with a simple prompt, and then can further work on this and make it production ready with the SAP Fiori tools. So this was the first in our AI endeavor, and now we have a second one, the next iteration on that. So the Fiori project accelerator is good for newly generated project, but if you later want to modify projects or existing projects with AI help, we need a different approach, a more flexible approach. And for this, we are offering now the SAP Fiori MCP server. What is it and what does it mean for how you work with it? MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It is basically an interface where the community, AI community, has settled on, which is understood by the common AI clients like Client, GitHub Copilot, Cursor. And you can write MCP servers offering functionality via the protocol to help LLMs and those clients to have better decisions or better outcomes of certain tasks. So that means the approach here is that you, as a developer, and the AI client are on the driver's seat. So the LLM does the action and the decisions and the reasoning and all the AI creativity. And the MCP servers support this complex, costly task in order to reduce errors, the hallucinations of things, and also help reduce token usage because certain tasks are just executed procedurally for the LLM and do not need costs for going back and forth with the LLM. So these are two things, but there's a third one. In order to make sure that the MCP servers are used properly and that the LLM understands all the concepts, for example, the concept of SAP Fiori elements, we also have an example rule set, which we publish together with our MCP server. You find it in the README, which works as kind of a task job description, and depending on your client, you have to put it in a specific file, or you can also use an agent's MD file if it supports that standard functionality. So today, we have available MCP servers for CAP CDS, for UR5, MDK, and of course, SAP Fiori, Fiori elements, and RAP. MCP server is currently in the works, so there will probably be an announcement later. And all those are open source. And so that means you can look up the code. You can also help enhance it and improve it by contribute. So this is all free to use, and you can plug it, as I said, in any model and use it with any model and use it with any client which is capable of hosting MCP servers. Okay, so this was about the introduction. Let me go straight away to the demo. So I have prepared an environment where I would like to show you how you interact and work with the LLM in this concept and also with the MCP servers. So I'm using Klein. You can use Copilot, Cursor, and all the others which are on the market. I just choose that because I'm used to it now for a couple of weeks, and it has some nice features which are handy for demos. So, and have here a prompt, and I already did some executions, so I will run you through the protocol to save a bit of time and then show you some live action. Okay, so my starting point was a Figma design for my application. So I'm starting from scratch. Quickly, let's look at it. It is a simple list report object page application. There's a list report about travels, and if you look further, then we have an object page and we have a sub-object page. So it's a very simple design, and we would like to have our LLM, with the help of the MCPs, to replicate it as a CAP application. So for this, I'm tasking it to do so, generate a new CAP project and SAP Fiori Elements application based on the Figma design. And I give it also a bit of a hint. It should follow all the given rules and use MCP server tools whenever possible. So, and it was going fine. So it looked up the design using one of the tools provided by the Figma MCP server. And then it read it and understood what it was. Then the next one is it looked up the information about how to create a new CAP project with the help of the CAP MCP server. So it used the tool search docs, which gives back basically the documentation how to do that. Yeah, well, you give some keywords and then you get a crisp, hopefully crisp response back explaining how to do it. So the next one was it has to call the Fiori MCP server to understand how Fiori Elements applications have to be created. So it also learned it here from documentation. It learned about what are the different floor plans and how to do that. So let me scroll down. It was a bit longer explanation, so there's still room for improvement to make it shorter. Okay, so now it needs to understand how you can model a CAP application, and it asks again search docs and so on. You get the principle. So after the analysis, it prints out a plan. So I let it run in plan mode first, not in act directly, and told me what it read on the screen and what it understood, what it has to model, and then it proposed the model and so on. Give me the instruction or show me the instruction what it will use to create the couple. This is correct, and so I can check it. So this is basically the duty of the developer. Check what the plan is. If the plan is okay, then click on act. So I did that, and now it executed it. And so I can fast forward now to part of the results. I would like to show you one thing. So it created it with the help of all the MCP servers and also with its own knowledge. So here, for example, this was the creation of the Fiori Elements application. So it fed in a JSON structure with all the necessary information into our generator, and then the generator did the work. This is especially important because we do not want the LLM to invent all the files of the project. This doesn't make sense from the effort and cost-wise, and it could also lead then to problems. So to create a standard structure of your Elements app, the generator is still the best. That's why we provide a tool in the MCP server to execute that. So, okay, this was all done, and yep, and it was completed. So there was one thing what was missing. It didn't do the criticality visualization. I mean, I can quickly show you the running apps, how it looks like. So this was the result, and this was all static in the first run. So I saw the list report, and it was all static. That's why I tasked it to apply dynamic criticality to travel status column. And it did it. Again, it has had to understand how to program that with the Fiori MCP server, search docs. Gave it the result of the snippet, how to do that. So it learned it on the fly and did all the necessary modifications. Sometimes it asks you back if there are decisions about what values you want to have. This time it just did it without asking me. Okay, so and then it was basically all finished. Good. So yeah, and then automatic data load. Then I enabled automatic data loads. This was also done. So there was a couple of things which are already prepared. So, and before we go to the actual thing, I'll give you a quick glimpse on the app. So the app is a list report object page with the travel status dynamically calculated, and has an object page, basic object page with the information. Okay, so now to the live part. There's a couple of things I don't like. So the first thing is, if you look here at the travel status, this is something that could not see on the picture really. Yeah? So this was not really obvious. It is a classic standard value help, but I have only 3 values. That's why I think it's better to have it and drop down. So, and that's why I ask it to create it. So let's remove that to make it not too complicated and make it a bit simpler. So I just task it to create a filter status as value help and display it as drop down. So follow the given rules, MCP service is available. So, and then let's go. Stop chat. So, and now it does CRP request to the LLM to understand what it should do with that prompt. And this takes usually a bit. That's why I use the time to explain you a bit of the background. So, first of all, let's have a look at the MCP servers which I have installed. So, okay, so I have to wait. Okay, it seems to be it's not multitasking capable, so we have to wait for the response. Let's see, maybe I can check, show the rules. Yeah, I can show you the rules instead. So this is something which I can see. So I have created rule sets for how to work with CDS, how to work with Figma, and how to work with Fiori. I give you a glimpse a bit about how the Fiori rules look like to understand what typical rules are. Okay. Okay, there's a bit of delay. So, okay, we see the MCP. So, but first, let's look at the rules. So, and this is basically what I gave it as a fundamental information, which is part of all the context. So, what is a Fiori Elements application? That it consists of a list report and object pages, and that they are connected via navigations, and that there are one-to-many association which can be used, and so on. And I also give it some hints what I need to expect. So every entity needs a proper data type, and we need keys of type UUID, and when sample data, it must use that format. This is also helpful then. And also I give it the hint that it should consult the Fiori MCP server if available. This is also important sometimes to avoid that it invents things on its own. And there was also a funny thing which happened. So some creativity of the AI. So basically, I tasked it to add columns to my model because some columns missed what were missing from the picture, and it was very creative. So basically, what it did, it fired up the browser and then navigated to the personalization and saw, okay, I can add the columns here. So and then I added it with the personalization and then said, okay, I've done it. It was a creative solution. It was a solution, but it was not the one I liked. So that's why I added this hint here that it should not use personalization, but it should rather modify the application. That means to modify the line item annotations. Yeah, and there was also a bit of the preview, and someone was a bit confused how to start the preview, and I give it a bit of a hint because we have dedicated watch script for our applications, which help to do that. Okay, so I think I need to go back to our model. Yeah, okay, I need to actually approve it. So it looks for the doc. So, okay, let me close this. Yeah, it should be a bit faster now. So it got basically back now the explanation of the documentation, how to do that. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of text. It's basically coming from all our resources, which we have at Fiori Elements. We have the help documentation. We have our new dev portal, which was introduced just by Stefan, and we have example apps and all these things. And this we compose together to something which can be given to the LLM. So LLM is at work. So it's now understood that it has to change something in the annotations and now works further. While it's doing that, I can show you the MCP server. So Figma, this is the MCP server from the Figma colleagues. So let me see. Yeah, so the CDS, this is the one which I mentioned, which helps you to develop a cup. CDS, so it has only two tools, the search model and the search docs. Very simple. And then the Fiori MCP server also search docs, but we have a second way of offering functionality. Okay, it looks like it's done. So let's head back. Let's head back to the LM. The LM is a green message usually means, oh, I've done my task. So, and it also understood how to start the preview, you see. So it picked the right start script from the package JSON and now started the preview, which takes a moment. Good. Yeah. Okay, so there should be browser. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Because I didn't stop the other preview and client didn't know that I had the other preview running. So that's why I have to confirm that to get another port. Good. There should be a browser open then after this time. So let's get back to our MCP servers explanation. So we have another way of doing or providing help to the LLM. So the one way I said is search docs, give basically explanations how to do that, and the LLM does it. The second way is that we have dedicated functionality for certain apps. So we can ask the MCP server to list me all apps which are suitable for which are Fiori elements and which have the capabilities, and then list all the functionality I have as procedures. So basically everything which I can just call as an API and don't need programming. And then the way how it works is list the functionality, gives back what is eligible for the particular app. Then you get the details, which is basically the JSON format in which the input is expected. And then the LLM fills that input and starts the execution. This also helps with reducing the number of tools. So basically, we only have a fixed set of number of tools, and all the functionality is then behind the list functionality to not overwhelm the MCP service too many tools. Okay, so but I saw that the browser opened, which is good, and you already see it here. Yeah. The travel status was changed to drop down. There's still something which is not super nice. It is that it uses the GUIDs instead of a status code. I did it in the preparation to task it to change that. It's possible, but it takes a while because it has to change the data model, add some things to the data model. It's a bit slower. So that's why I would like to show you another example where it's we'll use our list functionality and direct procedural call and not doc search. So there is one feature of Fiori element which is not enabled, so that is the flexible column layout. So basically I have two separate pages, navigation combined, but there's a way to show both pages on the same screen, and I would like to task it to do that. And then let's go back. So okay, reject and cancel. Sometimes it is a bit verbose and wants to do more afterwards, so that's why you have to cancel it. Okay, so now, okay, enable FCL, so it should work with abbreviation for the Fiori inside the cup project back for Fiori apps and what functionality is available. Perhaps in the project available with the MCP server. So I'm doing it now because there are two alternative routes. So one is the execution with a procedure that I want to show you, and the other one is via the doc search. Both will work fine, and both will do the result. But if I'm a bit more explicit, then I hope I nudge it in the right direction. Okay. Oops. Okay, it was not fully cancelled. Okay, good. Let's go. Let me stop the preview here so that we get our mods back. Okay, so while it is running, let's go back to more infos. So I already explained to you the two ways the MCP server supports the LLMs via predefined tools or development guidance. And if you want to know more, then there are two links here. The one link is the blog post, which is the announcement blog post for the functionality. So here you'll find everything in regards of the Fiori MCP server, and you also see linked the blog post of the companion MCP servers. So they should work together. So if you want to cover the full stack, then you need them. all, yeah, to be able to work with all the aspects of the project. And as soon as we have the RAP here in addition, then we can also do the same in the similar way as we do for CAP now with RAP. So I'm really looking forward to that, to cover that. So you see on the left side, it basically figured out what is the tool to use, list Fiori apps. And this lists the Fiori apps. But there's only one, so it's relatively easy, but it gets the right path. Yeah, so sometimes if it doesn't know exactly where to find the app, it's important that we have that functionality. So list functionality will give it what is possible for this particular app. Yeah, this is the path. And now the list functionality gives back what can be done. And I would assume that it's a bit slower than my preparation. So for those simple tasks, so honestly, for those simple tasks, the classic click tools, the Fiori tools are probably faster because people who know that enabling flexible column layout and also other smaller items are just click. Yeah. But the one with the drop down, for example, I would not be able to code that because I have a product manager and not a developer. So I need help with that. So I would basically it would do the same. I would consult the documentation and try to understand how to do that, and then would start coding. So it's easier to just task it here to do it and do something else in the meantime, and then check if the result is okay. So that's important. LLMs, even with the MCP, will do mistakes. And you are on the driver's seat. You, as a developer, you have to actually check that it does the right thing. You do not need to know the absolute details of everything. Maybe you forget also certain steps, though something the LLM is then more precise and better, because if it understood how to do things, or if it has tools to do it, then it's usually then a perfect result. But in general, it can do mistakes. And I also learned, you saw it in my example, if you are more precise in what you want, of course, then the results are better. Okay, so it did it now, and we are going in the green phase, and it understood what to do. And now it starts a preview, and this time, hopefully, we get the 4004 port again. Oh, shell integration with Android. Okay, maybe there was a timeout, but the command was executed. Oh, good. Yeah, okay. It still figured out it is done, and let's wait for the preview to start. Okay, let's cancel it here so that it doesn't intervene with my preview. So what you see here is a standard preview, basically what we offering from the SAP Fiori tools and via the X05 tooling package, which is automatically bound as a dev dependencies to all generated projects. So this preview functionality is always available. So now let's see, when I click here, yeah, it should actually open up the object page in a separate part of the same screen. And this is the indication that I have enabled flexible column layout. So yeah, so basically with the LLM, you can do everything what is documented. Yeah, so everything what has some documentation or examples which can be provided as guides to the LLM, it can do. Maybe not everything error-free yet, so we are working on this to condense the snippets to the minimum and to a crisp situation so that we do not overwhelm the context. And we also work on the quality of the source material. So we have to learn a lot here, how to write documentation and how to write sources which are AI capable, so which are capable of being used by AI to do tasks. So this is basically our main thing. So, and finally, before I hand over back to Thomas, finally, you will be able to try that out live, hands-on, on TechEd. So we will have a session, hands-on session, where you can actually do that on your own and challenge the model to do Fiori Elements development. Okay, I think Stefan, you have a couple more slides, or Sebastian, who for the Outlook, then from my side, and done. Thank you very much, and back to you, Sebastian.
Okay, let me find my slides again. It's always a little tricky. But let's go back to the slides, because as Christoph mentioned, we have a few sessions actually at TechEd, which you now see on screen. So if you're in Berlin, this is the way to actually experience what Christoph just showed you. So we have a full setup in the hands-on area, basically with 40 laptops, where you can actually experience that MCP server. We have a full demo scenario where you go from Figma, basically adjust your designs, take that Figma design and basically give it over to the MCP servers, or let the LLM with the MCP server support and generate an app and or do all the changes that Christoph just, and more changes that Christoph just showed. So that's going to be cool. So if you're in Berlin, do that. There is still some slots left. They're closing rapidly, but there's still some slots left. And if you're seeing this and you are from India, we're going to run the same sessions in India as well. So Bangalore will also get these MCP hands-on sessions, which we're quite happy about. And I'll put that the links also into the chat one by one. Well, Thomas already did this. Yes, the numbers are already in the chat. It's CA 263, 261, and 105. So go to the session catalog and look out for that. And then you will find us and hopefully have a good time with us. Christoph and I will be there in Berlin, and our colleagues from Bangalore will run the one in India. And then the last one that I have for you, we have a monthly roundtable, which we do first week every month, where the community comes together. We have quite a lot of people in there. Marian, who's in the chat, is also a frequent visitor to our roundtable. We discuss everything Fiori Elements, Fiori Tool, and also the latest MCP advancements, latest concepts and everything. Sometimes there's a lab preview in there. And then, of course, also the dev portal that Stefan showed us. So if you wanna participate, if you wanna sign up, there's a tiny URL or QR code on screen, which you can basically sign up for the process and then enroll into the roundtable and get the latest and greatest from us. Yes, and with that, I think we're gonna close the call. Or let's say thank you. First of all, we have a few questions. I think 2 questions still to answer. But for the content, that will be it from our side. If you have some questions still, please put it in the chat and we're gonna answer that now. I think, Christoph, there was a question for you regarding is there a roadmap for the MCP server?
Maybe I can talk it verbally. So MCP server is a highly dynamic project at the moment. So we are working on different ways to enhance it. So we will integrate our CLI tools, and we will, as I said, we will heavily work on the quality of the doc search. There is no particular roadmap at this time. So as soon as it is more settled and we have more clarity on what is the best route to go forward, we are also still in the experimenting phase to understand what is the best way to support and get stability and get good results. So there is still a bit of left and right looking at different methods and see what best fits. So once we have settled on that, and when we are a bit mature in this decision, then I will also share a roadmap. At the moment, please follow the change logs in the open source repo, and blogs to come if there are major announcement. I will share it then via the Fiori Tools blogs. Yeah, this is basically the answer.
And I think the last questions that we have that I see for now is the Fiori Elements MCP server supporting project conversion to TypeScript?
No, but it's a good point. So the Fiori MCP server does not support. I have to double check with our UR5 colleagues whether their UR5 MCP server would provide such a functionality. I know they are able to lint projects, so you can see problems and also auto-fix those, but whether a full TypeScript session is possible, I have to double check, yeah.
Okay. I think this was the last question. Thomas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we covered all questions then. And then I would say
Yep.
we're going to close the session, I guess, Thomas.
Yeah, sounds good. I want to thank everybody for joining, particularly our three presenters today. I've really enjoyed this session. This was very delightful for anybody that does any Fiori-based development, and would point people to the TechEd resources that were mentioned here. If you're joining TechEd in person, on tour, or the virtual TechEd, there's going to be more information about all these topics there. So any parting words for the audience from the presenters?
I would say go out there, experience the MCP server. I mean, it's already out, right? Play around with it.
Try to get used to the development model.
Feedback, basically. Yeah.
All right, then we'll close out
the
this session. Oh, sorry.
Dev portal. Don't forget the dev portal.
The dev portal, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody for joining this Devtoberfest session. We have a couple more days of Devtoberfest to wind up the week, but then we'll be quickly moving on to TechEd season. It's just one hit after another for developers this time of year, and we look forward to seeing you, as we said, either at TechEd Berlin on one of the TechEd on Tour events or in TechEd Virtual Online. So everybody has an opportunity to join us in one of those ways, and we look forward to seeing you there. So until then, have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Really great session.